All right. So Darker and Edgier is back again with more 90s fun. So we're going to be talking about the comic book cards from the 90s and going through some of these. We've definitely found out that, man, again, the 90s was just all comics and they were cashing in on anything they could put an image on of anything from a comic book. So t-shirts, posters, calendars, cards, anything. And I know Al and Ben both had a lot of these, so we're going to talk about comic book cards today. So thanks, guys.
Full sets of these bad boys.
Yes, that's your retirement, right, Ben? Is this still part of the Ben Crane retirement plan?
Right. So follow me on my next TED Talk. These I actually were purchased for me by my parents, who just thought I would like them. But as I kind of got older and looked at them as a collection, yes, it turned into, ooh, these are going to be worth something someday. Yeah. And they are. They're worth something.
Yeah. Now, surprisingly, yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, these are actually somewhat more valuable. But Paul's in the chat. I lost my train of thought here. So this is before the days of customizable card games. So these, now everything's gamified, but these are just like your baseball cards, your basketball cards, your football cards, except with comic book heroes and villains on them. So this was, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, Ben or Al, I think Marvel Card Series 1 might have been the first comic book cards, but I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys know.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
At least from what I was reading a little bit online, the Marvel Card Series 1, I think came out in either 1990 or 89. And I think it might have been at least the first big production of comic book cards. There might have been maybe some DC stuff. Maybe you got in cereal boxes or something like that. But yeah, like Paul said, baseball cards for nerds.
Yeah.
So before we move on, though, real quick, I wanted to back up on our last episode, which I'll put a link in the show notes for that on comics. Or on the covers, we were talking about comic book covers. I think if you remember the video game crash in the 80s, part of the reason that happened was because if you guys remember the Atari covers for the cartridges on the Atari, how the art was just fantastic.
Yeah.
But the game obviously was nothing like what was on the art.
Yeah.
And part of the reason Nintendo had to do those, you remember the first Nintendo games on the NES were the kind of the blocky covers, the Mario Brothers and the Duck Hunts and all those. So retailers said that if you're going to sell video games now, because they got bitten so bad by Atari and all the other systems out there, they said the covers have to reflect what the game looks like. So they had to make the covers look more like what's in the game. And I don't know if there's a parallel between the comic book crash in the 90s and that, where the covers were foil covers and, hologram covers and everything. But the inside, as we found out, I know Ben mentioned this, he's like, the Ghost Rider cover looks amazing, but I never read the comic book.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't think there is, but I just kind of thought of that. I was like, well, that's kind of similar to the video game crash in the 80s, where part of the reason is because what was on the cover didn't reflect what was in the game. Part of the reason maybe the crash in the comic books came because of all these outlandish gimmick covers, and the inside story was not that fantastic. I don't know. I just thought of that.
I think that was more coincidental timing, because comic books still do that, where you'll see a book and it'll have an amazing cover with artist A, and you open it up and it's artist Z. It's not good at all.
Yeah. So anyway,
Marvel's really guilty of that with Art Adams. They'll have, Art Adams he does a cover every month for a different book, it seems. But
really?
Yeah, but he doesn't do monthly. He doesn't do the interior work anymore.
Okay.
So he's always just teasing everybody.
He just does one panel. Is that something as a comic book artist, that's the kind of the cream of the crop? I'll just do covers. I don't have to do.
It's a very select few that can make a really good living doing only covers and don't have to do sequentials.
Okay.
There's a handful of them, but yeah, with like Art Adams, it's because he's really detailed and he's really good, but he's really slow.
Okay. So he would not like you got a 2-week deadline to get all 30 pages done or something like that.
Yeah, he used to do it back in the 80s, and then he did his own series with Image, Monkey Man and the Bride, and then he couldn't meet deadlines. So at some point he just said, you know what, I've got a huge market here that I can, people, all the companies, even the ones that you've never heard of and overseas, are just chomping at the bit to get him on a cover. So he can do that. And he never has to draw any panels. And he only gets to draw the fun stuff. Yeah.
Hey, more power to him.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive in on cards here real quick. And the first one that I came up with is the Image Youngblood cards that came out in 1992. And just like we were talking about, anything that had the Image logo on it, specifically even Rob Liefeld on it in the early 90s, sold like wild cakes. Didn't matter how crappy it was. And these cards are crappy. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. The images, the graphics, the art they pulled from is all from the Youngblood comic book. There's no unique art here. The cardboard is it's bad. It's not glossy. It looks like the same cardboard you use on your Captain Crunch, cereal box.
Right.
All it has on the back then, so the front has your typical panels from the comic book. On the back, it has just a little black and white image of the same thing that's on the front. And then it has just maybe a little story about, like this one talks about the first image or first issue of Youngblood, and nothing unique at all.
Was there anything on the back of any of them? Here's, if it's a card unique to Shaft, it's going to tell you what his powers are, his real name, things like that, or
no, not really. I mean, it would just kind of tell about what's on the front. Typically, there wasn't here's the foil cover that it came in.
That's awful.
So Youngblood, there is some Prism cards. I never got any. I think I only bought a couple packets of these. And I was like, this is garbage.
Well, look for Prism cards. It's clearly a scam to get you to buy 5 packs.
Yes. Well, yeah. Like as we'll find out in all of these, that is the scam. But look, see, it says Rob Liefeld art. Again, I'll just slap the Image logo, the Youngblood logo, put Rob Liefeld on there. Boom. And
but the funny thing there is that that cover image, that's not Rob Liefeld art.
Really?
That is not Rob Liefeld. Yes, I'm positive.
Really? I don't know. It has the teeth. The teeth seems to be a giveaway.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hashes, but no, that's got to be one of his. I guess it does say Liefeld, but that's not.
Oh, it does. Yeah, right here on his bow.
But yeah,
I think it's like a scanned image that they just kind of
maybe that's
updated. Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, there's really nothing unique about these at all. And it was voted third worst comic card series of the 90s. The second was the Batman Forever cards for the movie.
Yep.
And then the worst was Death Watch 2000 by I forgot that Adams. I can't remember his name, that did a whole separate comic book line. But you would think, Rob Liefeld Image would not get the third worst out of any of them, but it did.
When you look at them, though, there's no graphics on the front. There's nothing. I mean, they just have that. They all have the same boring red border.
Yes, they do. Yep.
They have, and then like you said, like you pointed out already, they don't have any unique artwork.
Nope.
You're just, and if you're buying these cards, you've bought every issue of Youngblood that's on the shelves.
Yes.
You've seen all of this artwork already.
Yes, because this came out early. I think there will only been maybe 5 or 6 issues of Youngblood. So there wasn't much to pull from. Right.
Yeah, they just don't look good. They just look really generic. They look like a cash grab.
I guarantee you some exec at Image was like, look, we need to get the kids to buy something. What can we do? Have something out in 6 weeks. I want something in 6 weeks.
That's right.
This is what they came up with.
That exactly was Rob Liefeld.
So this packet here of 10 cards you could buy back in 1992 for $1. So if you go to eBay, you can buy 30 packs right now for $24.95.
Wow.
So this is the Ben Crane investment opportunity. So you can buy cards now 30 years later for less than what you could buy 30 years ago.
So on that note, when you started talking about these in our chat and you showed the pictures of them, I remembered seeing those, and my astute investing prowess when it came to comic book stuff told me steer clear of the Youngblood cards. So I remember them, but I don't think I ever bought any.
They were probably in every comic book shop in the 90s, I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
So it was pretty bad. Let me see if I can find here's the back of some of these. Let me see. Now that you told me, Al, about that, let me see if I can find like a Shaft card, or I only bought, like I said, maybe 2 packs of these. Here we go.
And the Marvel cards were already out, and baseball cards had been out for generations. Like the model was already established on how to do a good, successful card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, so here we go. Shaft. Yeah. Okay. So it does give. Shaft is a weapons expert and FBI agent. The government yanked him out of the FBI and inserted Shaft into the program. He has no superpowers, but is very athletic and agile. He can turn any object into a lethal weapon.
So Bullseye.
Bullseye.
No.
He's not Bullseye, Al. It's totally different.
All right. Shaft is not derivative. My bad.
Yeah, come on.
So yeah, but if you've read the books, you know this. There's nothing unique about these at all. Well, hey, we got a Bullseye character here. Oh, okay. This is from okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at this is not unique to Youngblood. Huh. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they could have had some graphics. You know, they had graphics teams.
I know they had a whole. I mean, you can list off the image artists that you could have pulled in and done some unique Youngblood art, but I think if I remember correctly, if you're at Image, the artist controlled the property. Yeah. So this is probably a Rob Liefeld pull here, I assume.
Oh, absolutely. But he was also by this time probably way behind deadline, because after the first books came out, they couldn't keep deadline because it was such a huge sensation that they started having to do, basically press tours.
Yeah. And admin problems and all that stuff.
Right. So after like the first 3 months, they weren't at their drawing boards to do the books, let alone to do these things. So, you want to keep it hot. You want to get more merchandise and more property out there to keep people clamoring for it. But yeah, they really dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, it was.
Well, and like you said, Al, it's not like they had, examples of what to do that were successful or anything to look at.
Yeah, but that also would have taken time.
So yeah, as soon as we came up with this topic, I was like, I'm going to pick one of the worst ones just to look at, because again, they sold. I bought them. I'm sure lots of other kids bought them too, but I would imagine they probably had the same reaction I did. I was like, this is it. Okay.
It doesn't even come with lousy bubble gum.
No. Yeah. I might get a prism card. There's probably 2. I don't know. But
fortunately, yeah. I did not have access to an actual physical comic store, so I did not see these on the shelf, which is lucky, because otherwise I would have been chasing.
You didn't fall for it.
I did not. I didn't have the chance. I never saw the bait.
Oh man. Yeah, because again, as bad as they are, I guarantee you, we still probably would have bought them, or at least a couple packs like I did. I bought 2, and I'm like, I'm done. But still, I bought 2.
Yeah, I would have been wildly disappointed.
Yep. So yeah, that's the early 90s Image logo, slap the Rob Liefeld logo on it, and it'll sell.
Yeah.
And yeah. That's kind of, Paul said, when I opened the pack, I was like, wah, wah, wah.
Yep.
Oh, but that's part of the Image craze, man. That was just, it didn't matter. Yeah, you had the Rob Liefeld as our first episode. We talked about the Rob Liefeld fan club,
Yep.
Didn't he do a Reebok commercial or something like that?
Yeah, it was a Levi's 501 buttonfly
Levi's.
jeans commercial with
See?
Spike Lee.
Yeah. So again, it just Rob Liefeld was just hot
Yeah.
comic book artist at that time. So, all right, Al, what do you got for us? What's a comic book card you want to talk about, or series, or?
I did not have the Youngblood cards there. I did collect the Marvel cards just because the Marvel cards were, they were on the rack at the impulse rack at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
Any place that sold comic books, the grocery stores and the gas stations, they were there. So I was able to snag them that way. So I did get the Marvel cards that were coming out. That one there, that was that two.
Let me grab them here. Let's see.
And they were great because not only did you have unique art, at least I don't recall coming across anything that was in the book. It was all unique, and it was, it all had that Marvel, the Marvel style of art where, the dynamic poses and coming at you and, heroic looking and just fun. But you also had the stats on the back. You learn about all of the characters that you'd never, and there were some that you'd never heard of. And they were a great sales tool because I remember trying to seek out books based on some of the characters I saw.
Yeah. So there we go. The stats. So Marvel Card Series 2 is the one that started with the stats, but then all the ones I think after that had it. But yeah, the stats were fun. So yeah.
Yeah, because then you could launch into all the debates about, who's stronger, the Hulk or Spider-Man. Well, let's go to the cards. Let's look at the back of the cards.
So this is a little bit of a hint of the gamification, a little bit of the cards.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know too, when they were, the team assigned to developing these cards. I mean, I'm sure they have Marvel handbooks and things like that to reference, but what kind of debates there were in the offices to say, well, here's how strong Spider-Man is. Let's give him a strength of 4.
Yeah. Oh, you had to have. I mean, I even was looking at these and had some debates, but that was just the stats was the thing that caught me. So I was going to mention that. It's like the stats on these that was the fun part too. Oh, well, who's, like Spider-Man here has got so the rating of 1 to 7, at least on Marvel Series 3. I don't remember what they were on 2. But strength of 4, intelligence of 4, and energy projection of 1, mental powers of 2, which I think was normal, fighting ability of 4, and then speed of 3. Wasn't there I think on the packaging, didn't it tell you what each rating kind of meant?
Oh, like a key?
Yes. Oh man, I wish I would have found that before.
It was either on the packaging or it came as, because like some of the series they had separate cards that explained like what the rating was, like what it meant, like what strength meant, and then it gave you like the grading of like a 1 means you're weak and horrible, and a 7 means you're godlike, so you could look at that and go, oh, well, when they mean strength, they mean this, and he's a 5, so
yeah.
I
wish I would have found that. I know I had one. I think you're right. I think it was on the packaging of you get the foil packages of 10 or 12. And I think it had the key on there. I'll have to find that because that was fun. Al's completely right. The nerd debates that they had at Marvel would have been over the top. But I remember just as the fans of these, that was the fun topic to find.
Because there was some point where they said, all right, the Silver Surfer is going to be, power level 7. And somebody else in the room's like, man, you just made him more powerful than this, or what,
Oh, yeah. Like the Celestials here is not applicable. But then I noticed the Living Tribunal just has 7s on everything. I was like, no, I remember I disagreed with that as a nerd. I was like, no, Living Tribunal should be more powerful than the Celestials, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of the one above all almost on all of that. But, that's just, again, that's the debate I'm sure that they had.
Yeah. And the fun thing about these two, just going back to the artwork, is it is unique and it's original art. And one of the fun things about it is you can tell like the guys that were on monthly books, like Eric Larson was doing Spider-Man at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure they went to him and said, hey, do artwork for the card. Here's the style, and here's what we're looking for. He's drawing a monthly book. He doesn't have a lot of time, and you can tell that a lot of these things are very fast.
Yes. Yeah, they did not have a lot of time, but do you think they went outside of the bullpen though to find maybe some artists to do some of this stuff?
Some of the guys, yeah, because like we were looking before, and there's some guys whose names I don't recognize, and I'm sure they just they have guys that are artists on staff that aren't are on call that aren't necessarily doing monthly books, but that do other projects. And with those, those are probably more likely to be more detailed than like the one that Eric Larson did is very fast. The Jim Lee ones, I remember that with Jim Lee's you could really tell like it was a sketch that he slapped some ink on real quick and just and then kept moving because he just wouldn't have time to sit and get super detailed. That's Sleepwalker.
No.
That's Sleepwalker.
Yeah, so Sleepwalker, it looks like there's no, at least I haven't found a artist list on who did what. So like Al was talking about earlier, you have to just look at the card itself and try to find, like there's a little B here in the back. I don't know who that would be.
Yeah, and I wasn't familiar with the Sleepwalker character. I know that seeing this though, I did try to seek him out because I thought he looked cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so some of these are at least in Series 3, they pulled some unique characters and some maybe new characters to try to give them some life.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the point on some of these. Yeah, see, like we were talking about, here's this Ryan and Dustin again. So again, we talked about before we got on air that I think some of these, like Al said, they just went to the bullpen and said, hey, we need 20 of these cards. Here's your characters. We need them by next week or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like that.
Most likely.
So did you have the full set, Al, of these?
I had a lot of them. I know I bought a lot of packs and I had a lot of duplicates, but I did have a lot of them. I don't think I had the full set, but
yeah, I didn't either. I was still trying to collect them because again, so there's 205 in the Marvel Series 3, and there was 200 just regular cards and then 5 hologram cards that they had. And so there was a Wolverine, a Ghost Rider, a Venom, Thing, Hulk. I have the Hulk. I had the Wolverine one, but I think I lost it. And I think I had the Thing, but I lost it. The only one that survived, I think, is the Hulk one that of mine. But here's the card that has all the lists. So you're trying to get all of these here. Yep. Okay. So they did have a section for rookies. So rookie cards. Mm-hmm. There's Pantheon, Slapstick, strong guy. I wouldn't put him as a rookie in 92, but okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Hologram card of Hulk here was probably Sam Keith, as Al had alluded to, most likely.
Yeah.
So what about you, Ben? What's your memories, comments on Series 3?
So I think I didn't quite start buying Series 3 except for maybe a small handful of those ones. Like I recognize some of them. But I think I didn't really, I think I like I said, I'd stopped buying the cards at that point, or people had stopped giving them to me, one of the two. So, but I mean, like I recognize it, like I have Series 3. I'm looking through my book that I have here. I have Series 3 somewhere, or at least a good handful of them.
Sure.
But I remember that where the hologram cards, I remember buying packs just trying to find the hologram cards. And then I realized, oh, why am I buying all these cards? Just stop.
Yeah. And this is before the days of the internet. So you had to go buy them at your comic book shop or someplace. Al, you said you got them at a grocery store though. So they must've had just the 10 or 12 packs or whatever the little packs came in.
Yeah. Yeah, they were, on the impulse buy next to the cash register. Yeah, they'd have them right next to the baseball cards and the football cards, and right above the Big League Chew. So,
yep, yeah. I think I got some of these at Walmart. They had, they have that card aisle with the baseball cards and stuff like that you could buy them at. And I think I just picked up several packs. And I was like, these are cool. Just went and bought a bunch more to do like what Ben said, try to get the hologram cards. And yeah, here's a Sam Keith. You can tell this one.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I can see his name here in the Doctor Strange card in his cape here, so you can tell his art style. He's not. This one actually is less definitive of Keith. Well, no, here his little ribbon. He does these flowy, stringy pieces of art that you can tell that is kind of his signature.
Yeah.
But again, this is a unique piece of art. This isn't Youngblood pulling it from a panel.
Right.
This is all.
And like I said before, they're dynamic. You know, they're colorful. They're bright. They pop. You know, even now they hold up artistically. They don't look dated.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And out of this, now some people say that these weren't quite as good as the Series 2. Series 2, from a lot of opinions online, seems to be Marvel Series 2, I should clarify, seems to be the definitive one that a lot of people think was probably the best of the bunch. But I got Series 3. It was the first ones I got, so I'm a little jaded or more nostalgic about Series 3 than Series 2. But
I believe I did have Series 2. Series 2 was the one with they had the yellow ribbon with everybody's names in them.
Yes, I believe so. I think that was the Series 2. You have Series 2, don't you, Ben?
Like these ones?
Yes.
Yep, there you go. Yep, that's Series 2. Yep.
I have the entire run of Series 2.
Wow.
Oh, well, you go ahead, Ben. Tell us how you got into comic cards.
So like I said, I got the whole run of Series 2, and it was my parents. I mean, they knew me and my brother were into comic books and all that stuff, and they had seen this stuff, and my dad was really into collecting baseball cards. So they saw these come out, and they just bought us each a box of them, not just a couple packs, but a full box of them, and put them in these binders and gave them to us for Christmas one year. And after that, I just kind of kept, like, every time a new one came out, I would go buy an entire box, because again, thinking, oh, I need the entire run, because that's what's going to make it a collector's item. If I just have a couple of them, that's not good enough. So I would go buy the entire box of them, and I have complete runs of the 1990 Series 2. I have the complete run of the one that you're pulling up there. In fact, I'm looking at my thing card here as we talk.
Nice.
So, but what I remember from them, what I liked about them, was one, like you guys have been talking about, the unique pieces of art that the cards were. They weren't just taking a picture from a book or a picture from a cover and slapping it on a card. But it was unique art that they came up for the card itself. But then I also got into the, I guess, off the wall cards, because you got all the character cards like this, but then they also had they had the team cards. So they had pictures of, like, a card that was Alpha Flight. And,
Nice.
And then on the back of it, they didn't have the stats, but they had just, like, little information, like who's in Alpha Flight, what their first appearance was, a brief synopsis of who they are, and then they always had a "Did you know?" And it was kind of a fun little fact about the team or about somebody involved in the team. They also, in this, I guess it's the Series 2, they had they had a series called Spider-Man Presents as part of it, and it was Spider-Man interviewing people, like interviewing other characters. And so like this one, he's sitting there talking to Wolverine at a bar, and he's asking him, "Wolverine, your real name is Logan. Is that your first or your last name?" And Wolverine's answer is, "Yep."
That's a cool idea. So it's a totally like a mini comic, a panel of a comic just on a card.
Yeah. And he talked, Spider-Man talks to Thor, Punisher, Magneto, and it was just kind of fun, a different take on what to do with the cards, because they were clearly following the template of baseball trading cards and just trading cards in general. And then they decided, hey, let's have a little bit of fun with this, and throw some extra things in there.
Right.
So those types of cards, the like the what if cards and the team up cards, and like I'm looking at some they have where they talked about people's weapons, and they like broke it down, like they have Spider-Man's web shooters, and they break down like how they work. Like it's not just like, oh, they're things that shoot webs. Like, no, that's like they're this long, they weigh this much, this is how they work, these are the components. And I mean, obviously completely made up, but it was kind of cool. I mean,
I think I remember that one. It shows like where they put the web cartridges at and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it says, you know, it's Spider-Man's web shooters, and then you look on the back.
Yeah,
and it's a little schematic that says, you know, it's 6 inches long, it weighs 2.2 pounds, it's made out of stainless steel, you know, all this stuff, and then it again gives a little synopsis of the web shooter and how it works. So stuff like that was pretty fun.
Yeah. That is fun. That's a way to make it unique. And a Spider-Man fan, or even a comic book fan in general, will just love that. Because as a kid, you eat that up. You know, the cutouts, the maps, the whole thing.
Right.
Well, and especially if you just got into it. If you just started reading Spider-Man and just got hooked, and now you come across these cards and it's teaching you everything you never knew about the character and about his devices, that's fantastic.
Right. And they had the little, like I said, on the back of the cards, they had the like, did you knows? And some of them were like obvious things, like Wolverine. I think on one of the series, the did you know fact was like, did you know that Wolverine was part of a secret government agency known as Weapon X? It's like, oh, only if you know who Wolverine is, you dumbass. But it's still, you know, they took the time and effort to kind of do that. And then here's what I was talking about. You guys were talking about the power ratings. So like this one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a separate card that says, you know, speed. It's the ability to move by running or flying. And then it gives you a 1 means they can't even get to 15 miles an hour. And a 7 means they can go light speed.
Wow. Okay. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. So series 2, did they do 1 through 7, Ben? Do you know on the ratings?
Yeah, they did kind of like a little bar graph. Like I'll just pull this one out. That's like, this is Darkhawk. But they just did like a little bar graph like this.
So wait, if 1 is normal human and 7 is light speed, that's a big gap in only 7 numbers. Like what is what's 2? Mach 1?
Well, here
I think 2 is like normal human or something like that.
So 1 is slow, and then it says cannot attain 15 miles an hour.
So average American.
So 2 is normal, and it says peak range is 25 to 29 miles an hour.
Okay.
3 is superhuman. Peak range is 111 to 115 miles an hour. 4 is subsonic, which is 250 to 500 miles an hour. 5 is the speed of sound, which is able to reach Mach 1 or 770 miles an hour.
Okay.
6 is supersonic, which is Mach 2 to Mach 4.6. or 0.22 to 1 mile per second. And then 7 is light speed, which is 186,000 miles per second and faster.
Nice.
Okay. I remember that now. Now that you read it off, the Marvel Series 3 used the same gauge. And, oh, yeah, I remember studying that because it had the strength level. It had, the intelligence level, all of that all mapped out for you.
Well, and like Al said, if you look at it and you're like, wait a minute, you said this guy's speed was a 3, but this guy is a 4? No, that can't be true.
Right.
Yes.
So like you said, I can only imagine the debates they got in the office, but then also the debates, like when me and my friends looked at these, it's like, oh yeah, he's got a speed of 4, and like, oh, that's BS. There's no way he can do a 4. And it's like,
Right.
See, I guarantee you right now, Ben and Al, we could pull out several of these cards and we could probably talk a half hour and debate a half hour on a couple of them.
Easily.
So Ben, I have to ask, since you have the complete collection and you've got your Trapper Keeper there, how do you have them organized? Are they alphabetical? Do you have them arranged like each character by team?
No.
Numeric order, because I think they're marked, right?
There you go. Numeric order.
Yep.
And
that's how I have mine organized.
And by doing that, it puts them in, you have all the superheroes, then you have all the supervillains, then you have the rookies, then you have famous battles, MVC, most valuable cover, team pictures, and then the Spider-Man Presents, and then some holograms. And the reason I know that is because card 162 is the checklist. So you can see if you have the complete set or not.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah, numerical order, which that was always the fun part too, is opening up the whole box and opening all the packages and, going, oh, here's 1, 2, 3, 7, 4. Okay, now I got 6. And then
right,
man,
the whole process of it.
That had to be fun. How many hours did you spend when you got those, Ben? Just
way
too
many.
That's the fun of these. I remember just going through the stats, and they had Marvel Series 3 had little quotes on there. They had first appearances and just all sorts of fun information. I would say I almost spent as much time just looking at the back than I did the front, just because all the data and the fun stuff on the back.
Right. And I remember I would put them all in order in the sleeves, and then I would go back through and look at them. Like, I just paid attention to the numbers. Then I'd go back through and I'd look at them like, oh, that's cool. I'd go find my favorite characters. And then I'd spend time reading the back and, seeing if there's any new information that I didn't know about Gambit that might be in the Did You Know file. And, so just it was more the process than the actual cards themselves that was fun.
Do you think any of the cards led you to go buy some comics, Ben?
I think
that you can think of.
At a minimum, it caused me to maybe research some, like, the teams a little bit more sometimes. Like X-Men, X-Men was huge, but when I got the cards and even seeing the individual characters on their cards, it drew me into wanting to know more about X-Men. Not enough that I ever became a collector of X-Men, but yeah, it also fell into my kind of my weird, everybody's collecting comic books, so I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to collect the cards, but not
cards,
because I'm different.
Just to be contrarian,
right?
Exactly.
So
these Series 2. Now that I'm looking at them, I like Series 3, but boy, Series 2's got some fun stuff as well. I don't know. Maybe they're right, but so let's see. I think this series had the hologram cards too, right, Ben?
Yeah, they had a small handful of 4 or 5 hologram cards too.
Did they come with
Okay, here we go. Okay, I found the cards.
There you go.
So they did separate cards for each ability.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the Series 3, they just had them all on just the packaging. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put this in the show notes. Yeah. So strength. So let's start with 1 was able to lift one's own body weight or less, was normal. 2 was peak human, able to lift from one own's body weight to 800 pounds. Enhanced human, able to lift 800 pounds to 2 tons. Number 4, superhuman, able to lift 2 to 10 tons. 5, superhuman class 50, able to lift 10 to 50 tons. Level 6, able to lift 50 to 100 ton range. 7 was incalculable, able to lift over 100 tons. So, okay. Interesting. Yeah, then there's the speed that Ben went through, agility. So if I rate myself, I'm going to be below normal on all of these, below normal. So look at this agility, below normal, clumsy, it says in parentheses. So, oh man, stamina, below normal, unable to sustain for 1 minute.
Wow.
These are awesome. Durability, below normal, easily injured. Oh, so it gives you the durability, ability to resist or recover from bodily injury or disease. So they give a definition and then they rate them all. Okay.
So is that like Aunt May? Is that the character getting?
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Probably, but maybe she has intelligence. But so intelligence, ability to think is what they say.
Yeah.
Okay. Mentally deficient. That's a nice way of saying you're dumb.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I believe Aunt May did have her own card.
I'm
Most
pretty
likely.
sure. Oh man, we got to find her and see what she's rated at, so her durability is a 1, but she can bake the heck out of a cake.
Her baking is a 7.
Pancakes. Peter Parker likes pancakes. I think it is. Or,
Yeah.
Oh man. And here's the hologram cards.
But these two, like Al said, like I never went out and bought the books, but when I flipped through them, all the cards, it's like, you saw characters that like you didn't even know existed. Like I almost felt like they made up characters just to have them on the cards. But then as I later on researched and looked, I'm like, oh, that's a real guy. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, I didn't even know that was there.
Well, because they had, like I was an X-Men Spider-Man mostly, but the X-Men and the Avengers didn't ever really meet up, and they weren't really playing in the same sandbox, so to speak. So I really had no clue who the players were in the Avengers world, heroes or villains. I mean, you know who Captain America was, and you knew who they were in that regard, but I didn't know anything about them. And every now and then there'd be a villain that popped up, and I got nothing.
Yeah. Well, I remember some of these cards. Yeah, they had some crossover events in there, and I was like, I didn't even know these existed. And so then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go look that up and see what all that's about. So, well, Ben, so on eBay you can get a Marvel card series trading card box 36 pack for $224.99.
Wow,
brand new.
Slightly better appreciation than Youngblood cards.
yeah, you can buy, let's see, it was $24.95 for 30 packs, so you could buy 300 packs of Youngblood compared to one box of these. Oh man,
that's great,
hilarious. So Ben, you might have come up on
might have actually hit one on this one.
Might have appreciated a little bit on some of this. So you can get like singles of these if you have the hologram. Let's see what the hologram. So we're going to do Covert Nerd looking up values on live episode. I don't see the hologram.
They're selling each card starting at $1.25.
Yeah, like you can get an Archangel. Let's see what Archangels. We kind of talked about him. $1.25 for Archangel.
Wow.
Ooh. Not a heck of a deal there, but if you have the whole pack though,
right,
you can get about $200 for the entire pack if you want to get those. Huh. Well, Al, which ones did you have a series of the Marvel cards?
I had some of those. That series there, series 2 as well.
Series 2.
Okay. Yeah, series 2 and series 3. Whenever, like I said, whenever they came out, if I was at the grocery store getting my comics, I would snag them. It's been easy, like to however
big
much
mom to buy some for you.
Yeah,
or you grab them yourself. Let's see. A hologram series 2 card. Oh, that's series 3. Yeah, boy, these aren't. So series 3 holograms are going for $1.
Did DC ever really do anything to compete with these? Because I mean, I never remember ever even seeing DC cards out there.
No, Marvel, from what I've read on, I think they did do some, but not Marvel by far. Just buried everybody in the card department. They did not sell well. Not like these. The Marvel was king of the cards in the early 90s, it appears. I mean, I could be wrong on some of these, but
they did.
Oh, here we go.
Well, and it just makes so much sense that I wonder how many more, like how many sales these cards led to.
Right.
So, Ben, an open set of Series 2 is $125 on eBay with holograms.
Ooh.
This is the 10 though, so
yeah.
Is that what you got as the 10? When you said for Christmas or for your parents got you?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Put them in a 10.
Yeah.
Do you still have the 10, or is that long gone, Ben?
Oh no, that pretty sure that was thrown away Christmas morning.
First.
You know what drives me nuts about that tin is don't put the words collector's tin directly on the tin.
Oh yeah. Has a little yellow.
Yeah, it makes it look tacky. Just
how else would you know that it's a collector's item unless you say it on it?
Listen, you don't go into an antique store and see the word antique splashed across a lamp.
That's valid.
So you can get all 5 hologram cards from Series 3 for $10.50. Oh, dang it, Ben. I think our investment opportunity is quickly declining.
So it seems to be fading a little bit.
Maybe
darn it.
There's too many guys like Ben that have the whole Trapper Keeper still.
Right.
Oh, you can buy a brand new unopened box of Series 3 for $48.95. Well, not the whole series. Okay, so it's just the box. Okay, so that's the box that has like 50 card packs in them. It looks like.
It looks like that's what would have gone on a store shelf.
Yeah. So exactly what you were buying, Al. Yeah, they just open it up and then you buy the little packs out of each one.
I wonder if you would get the full set in that box.
No, because each pack had 10 or 12 cards, and
it's not guaranteed, but you had a better chance of getting a full set if you bought the whole box.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then you keep showing those Youngblood cards again, just to remind us of how good the Marvel cards really were.
Oh man, this is it's called somethingawful.com. It has the Youngblood cards in there.
Yeah.
So to stop criminals, and oh my gosh, these are so bad.
Well,
oh man.
And then Marvel started doing they started calling them the Marvel Masterpieces series.
Yes.
So
did you have some of those, Ben?
You really want to contrast between the Youngblood cards and the Marvel cards. That's one of the Marvel Masterpieces from '92.
Oh, those were beautiful. So did you have some of those, Ben?
Yes.
Well, okay. Tell us about those.
Run of that.
I'll pull them up here if you want to talk about some of those.
Who made those cards, Ben? Was it Fleer or like Don Russ or Topps or?
These were Skybox.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought they were Fleer, but I could be wrong. Yeah.
Fleer did do a run, which, oddly enough, I have some of those.
Around the same time, the football cards and the baseball cards were also getting like the high gloss and the super high quality for some of their runs.
Yeah, so in these Marvel Masterpieces, same concept. They didn't really split them up by hero and villain this time around. But like the artwork was just, like you said, more gloss, more more color saturation, slightly more dynamic looking, more art than this sounds weird, I know, but like more art than like comic book look.
Yeah, they're painted. They look painted.
The majority of these are Joe Jusko, who was
yes.
Yeah.
Tell us about Joe Jusko. I recognize the name, but I don't know much, Ben or Al.
He was a painter. He may have done some sequential works, but mostly he did just this. He was like on the same in the same category as Alex Ross. He did the Prestige, all the Prestige art and the Prestige paintings.
I think he did this 92 Marvel Masterpiece. I think he did the entire run.
It looks like
it. Yeah, looks like I'm looking at all of his now. I see his name on every single one of them.
Yeah, I think he did the art for the whole series of this one.
Also, a fun fact about Joe Jusko is he was also a competitive bodybuilder. So when you see pictures like that,
really,
yeah, like that's
doing a classic bodybuilder pose.
Yep.
Oh wow! So bodybuilder and artist. I can't. Yeah. Those two you don't hear going together very often.
Not typically, no.
Yeah, Al, you're an artist, so Al and / bodybuilder, right?
No. My body is being built, but not in this way.
Yeah, but I remember these coming out, and it was kind of like the same thing that drew me in, like with Wetworks, was that the art was just the colors are such more saturation and just look more, in my opinion, more vibrant, more alive on the cards than the other series, which the other series were great and I loved them. But like these ones, when I opened up the first pack and saw them, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And
they look fantastic.
And like I said, I don't think I have a whole run of that one, but I have a ton of those ones because I wanted to get a full run. But it was at the time where I was buying my hobbies for myself, so I couldn't afford to go buy, you know, a $50 or $60 full box to hope to get a full run.
Right.
If you bought these just in I think they came in packs of 10, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
something like that.
This was the classic. I would just go to the comic book store and grab, you know, 3 or 4 packs and hope for the best. Which obviously usually runs into I have a bunch of repeats because.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna compare these two. So the Youngblood on the right, and the Marvel masterpieces on the left.
That's not fair.
Oh wow! I mean,
brutal.
jeez.
Oh, those young.
Well, then you could even compare. Let's just compare Marvel Series 3.
Right.
You know, they're not painted, but just the difference is just
Right.
night and day.
Well,
this one is LW. Yeah, I don't know who did the art on that, but this is Jarvinian. I don't know if you recognize that name, Al. Okay.
But at least
anyway, go ahead.
With the Marvel cards, you know exactly what you're looking at, who it is. It's dynamic. Like Sunfire, there's, you know, he's leaping. It looks like he's coming right at you, just, you know, off the page. And on the right, you just got some random picture of a blonde. No graphics. No nothing. Just, yep, there's a girl's face. Cool.
Oh, and then on Marvel Series 3, the backgrounds all go together. So that was something they did unique in Marvel Series 3. The little space stars in the background. If you put all the cards together, and if you probably look, Ben, in your folder, if you kind of look at the background, they all kind of go together. The stars kind of align, and
that I did not realize. That's cool.
Yeah, I figured that out after about I had these probably 2, 3, 4 years. I'm like, hey, I happen to have some next to the sequential ones next to each other. I'm like, hey, this goes together. And then if you look at Marvel Series 4 or 5, and I think maybe even 6, they kind of stuck to that where the backgrounds all the art goes together. So like on Lenny Vernon, where the 3 issues go together, they did that with the cards so that they kind of I'm kind of split on that. I kind of like the card is unique to that card. It doesn't. Now the backgrounds, I don't care. That's fine. If the backgrounds go together, that's fine. But in Series 4, 5, and 6, they made them all a collage. So you put all 8 cards together, 9 cards, whatever fits on a sheet, and that makes up a big piece of art.
No, I remember what you're talking about with those, and it encouraged you to buy more packs.
It did.
You could complete the puzzle.
That's the point. Obviously. Instead of, so I think in those, they still did chaser cards, like the hologram cards or whatever, but then they put all the cards together to make a collage. So, but yeah, these are really, you had these, Ben, the masterpiece. Let's see, they did, it looks like, man, they went up to, so they did 92 Marvel so they had Marvel Universe Series 1 through 6, all the way from 1990 until 2011. They had a big skip in 94, but then they in 11. Then they had separate the Marvel Masterpieces, where they did this artwork in 92, 93, 94, looks like all the way through 96. So they released them at the same time. Oh, okay. How many of those? Then they did Fleer Ultra X-Men in 94, 95. Did you have those, Ben?
I have a few of those, yeah.
Wow, okay. How about the X-Men? Looks like they did an X-Men series in 92.
I don't.
93.
That one I don't have. I don't have any just specific X-Men.
Okay. So yeah, they did. I didn't realize they did that many. Huh.
Oh, maybe I lied.
Yeah.
As I'm saying that, here's the Fleer Ultra X-Men. I'm looking right at them.
Oh, you did them? Okay. So yeah, wow. You got a lot, man. You picked up a lot of those. That's cool.
And these ones are fun because, like, here you can't see it in person. The Bishop card, like his power bolts are like reflective. It's pretty cool.
That is nice.
Oh, so they had like foil in them, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah, the ones that are on screen now, I definitely had those.
Those are 92. This is series Marvel X-Men or X-Men Series 1, which was in 92. And let's find series 1. This 93 was series 2. Is that the one you have, Ben, with the Bishop foil?
Yeah, I think so.
Let me pull them up. Okay, yeah. I think
Yep.
I had a few. Yeah, I had a few of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have these.
There's the Bishop one. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I probably picked these up at Walmart, grabbed a couple packs, and yeah, these are pretty good too. But these aren't the X series are, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. They're okay, but I think the Marvel series, the masterpieces by far are spectacular.
Right.
But the
They're
X-Men
all-
ones,
They're all still pretty good though, because you can tell that they all had a lot of editorial oversight, and there was an entire team of of people working just specifically on these cards to make sure they put out the best product.
Right.
oh yeah, I mean they're still by far better than any of the others. This Wolf's Bane was done by Jim Lee.
Yeah, yeah. And with the Jim Lee ones in all these cards, especially, like you can tell he was doing this like on his lunch break from drawing pages. These were very fast.
Yeah. Oh wow. So yeah, these masterpieces one. I kind of forgot how just amazing Jesco did all. I can't believe he did all of these. There's probably at least 80 in that series, that Marvel Masterpiece series.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of cards that they had. Of course, I suppose Al's the artist here. It's easier to do just a shot of this than it is to do a whole panel or a whole page, I suppose.
Though, the challenging thing with this is, at least when you're doing a page and you're doing sequential, you're telling the story, so the character in this panel has to be doing this, and so it dictates the pose, and the story tells you what pose to put the character in. Here, you have to come up with 120 unique poses and make them look dynamic. And it gets challenging doing this because okay, if there's another winged character or another flying character, I've already done poses X, Y, and Z. Now what?
Okay, yeah, good point.
This
one is challenge. Done. So this is Marvel Masterpiece 3, which came out in '94. This is done by Hildebrandt. I don't know who that is.
They were brothers. The Hildebrandt brothers. Yeah, they were two brothers that did the paintings. I think one would draw and flesh everything out, and then the other brother would come in and paint over it.
Okay, so kind of one did the pencils and the other brother did the coloring, so to speak. Okay. Oh, you're right. G and F Hildebrandt. Okay. Wow. So these are still. You got how many? Do you have a full set of these too, Ben? Or is this just
those ones I know I don't have.
Just kind of picked up. Okay.
And the nice thing about these two is, or at least in my opinion, it's kind of moot now, but this was before digital.
Yeah.
It's like these guys were actually taking
their
brush and and paint or colored pencils or whatever, a variety of mediums to the paper here, to the canvas.
Wow. Yeah, these are all. Here's Archangel. I know, Al, you said, let's see. I never did find the Marvel Series 3.
Yeah, the
Archangel that you did.
Yeah.
Said that you drew that at least 1,000 times
easily
in study hall at school or something.
Yeah, it got to the point, like a lot of these things, I would draw them so much that I could, and I would trace them and draw them off the card, that I could draw them from memory, like fairly decent.
Wow, is that Archangel? Is that pretty easy, or is that pretty hard with the lines on his wings? Or give us some insight on that.
Yeah, it was tedious. With anything, whenever you're going to draw anything, it all, you just boil it down to the shapes. But yeah, some of the characters had just excessive detail, sometimes just for the sake of excessive detail, it seemed.
Yeah.
There's a Sam Keith.
Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Where was that?
Yeah,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can definitely tell it's Sam Keith.
Yeah.
He always draws the long faces.
Yep. And the tail is the ribbon.
Tail. Man, yeah, these are great. But again, yeah, unique poses, unique design. There Ryan and Dustin again. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, if they said there's let's see, 200 cards in this series, they just told those guys, you guys are going to do about 100 of these.
Yeah.
And then we'll fill in the rest with others.
With some of these,
artists.
especially like the marquee characters, like John Romita Jr. did that Punisher, and around that, he may have gone Punisher at that time.
You're right. It says right, JR in the bottom. Yep. Maybe what gives it away, Al?
It's that's with John Romita Jr. It's a lot of lines and the face. It's always he has like all of his characters have like a square face, and he always does the upper lip.
Oh, okay, man, that's amazing, Al. That you can just kind of pick up. Like, I know exactly who that is. We need to do a game of this on sometime. We just need to bring up a page. And okay, Al, you got 10 seconds. Tell us who it is.
I'm game.
And see if he's right. Because I am shocked at how well you just like, oh, that's so and so. I'm like, how do you even know that? That's awesome. But yeah, these are a lot of memories of these. Like Ben said, how many hours did we spend just going through these over and over and over again? And now, Ben, you said you got them from your parents for like a birthday or Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, the first set that I got, it was a Christmas, and then I think I bought like the next one that came out, I bought it on my own. And then I think the third set I got, I think my parents bought again for Christmas because like, oh, you really like those cards, and I'm like, yeah, they're pretty cool. And it's like, oh, all right, here's a box for Christmas. It's like, all right,
hey, I'll take them.
So
okay,
and they also started. If they gave you a box, that you'd sit in your room and stay out of their hair and.
Right.
Shut up for him.
It's like, hey, if we give him this box, we won't see him for the next 4 hours.
That's right.
He's just going to be up there opening packages.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so they were a box, and then each had the little foil packs of like 12. Is that what you got?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know if they had like those.
Sit there and have to peel open each pack and fumble through all the cards and be like, oh, I already got a number 6, so that goes over in my extra pile. And
See, that's half the fun is just opening them. So oh yeah, so your parents were like, yeah, this will keep him busy for quite a while.
Wow, I remember that Moon Knight card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moon Knight. Excellent. Let's see. It says something in the corner here. Turner, maybe? Turner. Yeah, it looks like Turner.
I don't think Moon Knight wasn't enough of a marquee character to get a marquee artist.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you read much? Anybody read Moon Knight?
If I didn't either. Up in something, that was about it, but I never saw him out.
Yeah, I think I might have come across a couple of issues that like someone gave me because they're getting rid of their comic books. I'm like, I'll take them, and it's like, oh, Moon Knight. It's like, okay, and I read them, and it's like, okay, I'm halfway through a storyline here, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, these were fun, just ancillary. That's kind of when we're looking at topics. This was a fun one that all of us seem to get into at one point or another. And there were so many different sets that they had. Like I said, let me grab those again where they had so Marvel Universe series 1 through 6, Marvel Masterpiece 1 through 11, X-Men had 2 series, Fleer Ultra X-Men. Looks like they must have switched. So X-Men series 1 and 2 were done by what did you say, Ben? Top or
Skybox, I think.
Skybox. And then Fleer, they must have got a contract with Marvel. Then the rest of them looks like they were Fleer. Spider-Man had his own in 94. Marvel Annual Flair.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Premium, Fleer Ultra Spider-Man, Marvel Premium X-Men Timelines, Marvel Vision, Marvel Legends, Marvel Onslaught, Marvel Creators Collection, X-Men Archives, Women of Marvel, 70 Years of Marvel, Marvel Heroes and Villains. Oh my gosh, there's a lot here. I'm not even going to. Marvel Beginnings.
Yeah, it got so daunting to try to keep up with all of them. I think is what stopped me from keeping the collections going, because it's just like, oh god, there's another. Oh, and then there's this one. It's like, oh my god, it's just too much.
Because the word Fleer came up so many times, I just looked it up, and in 1992, Marvel bought Fleer.
Oh, well, that's why.
Go. So
okay.
Yep.
Okay, guys, I'm a liar. There was okay, so here is I found it. There is a Marvel series, Topps Comic Book Heroes 1975. So here's what they looked like. Looks like they were stickers. So I was wrong.
Like patches.
Yeah.
They did this in 75 Topps. Okay. So, but this looks like stickers. I don't know what's on the back, but
yeah.
But this probably okay. So I was wrong. There was something somewhat comic book card related back in the 70s.
Oh, those are cool.
Right.
Peter Fonda, look out. Oh my gosh. Ghost Rider. Oh man. Conan. I mean, oh, okay. These are kind of cool. Huh. I wonder. Let's just look up on eBay what these are running.
Oh geez. Those are probably a lot. I'm gonna go
I
out
bet you
they're more than the Youngblood cards.
I think you might be right, Al. I'm just guessing they might be worth more than the Youngblood cards.
Low bar.
Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Okay. $199. So they were stickers. So you can get the Morbius one for $14, Spider-Man for $29. But you got to consider, these are 45 years old by now.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So Al, you were right. They are worth more than Youngblood cards. So
well,
these
and by
are
that
stickers.
logic,
Okay.
By that logic, in another 5 to 10 years, these Marvel cards are going to be worth 30 or 40 bucks a pop too. So
yeah. I found a YouTube video where a guy was claiming that the Series 2 was skyrocketing in price, but then I was looking at, now the video was a year old, and I was looking at them and they weren't going for near that. So
right.
Sorry, Ben, out of luck.
So close.
But yeah, so these are okay. So 1975 is when I guess you could technically say was the comic book. I don't know. These are stickers though, so I wouldn't even consider them cards. They're almost. That's interesting.
They're not as much fun as
cards. No, these are they're just not near as much, but it looks like maybe unique art, or they just pull from some of the panels on some of these.
Why is Man Thing saying that he dropped the soap in the shower?
I dropped the soap. Oh my gosh. What the who came up with these? So, and then like the Dracula one. So this is how you do the hustle.
As he's taking that woman there. Good Lord.
Iron Man fight Russ. These are almost just hilarious just to have the little ditties on them.
Right.
Don't pollute my waters.
It seems like just t-shirts waiting to happen.
Right.
These are. Who stole my right guard on the Hulk one? Oh man, these are hilarious. You're right. This would be perfect on a t-shirt. Sure doesn't taste like tomato juice from
No.
Oh my gosh. Oh, these are hilarious. These look on Cole. These pants don't fit. Are these real, or somebody just like Photoshop some of these?
That's a good question.
These are real. These must be real. Oh man, these are
Portrait
funny.
Under God is amazing. That would be an awesome t-shirt.
Oh, somebody's got to do this.
Right?
So, okay, so these are done by Topps, chewing gum. So they must. Oh yeah, that's right. Topps did all the baseball cards. So
yeah.
Ben, in your packs, did you get the gum?
No, they didn't do the gum in the comic cards.
No, they didn't. Yeah,
that's probably for the best.
I would have had a lot.
And
so
brittle and horrible.
Right.
So 1989, they had John Byrne trading cards. X-Force had their own. I'm gonna look at the
X-Force
John Byrne ones.
Remember, X-Force had the cards that came with X-Force #1 when it was polybagged.
Yes, I assume that was probably with the list. Excuse me. So John Byrne had his own that he just did.
Sure, because he was
separate
John Byrne.
ones. Because he's John Byrne. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Can you tell that's John Byrne, Al?
I can. Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like some of those. Those are kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't bad. They're pretty cool. And then X-Force 1991. Of course, they were huge in the early 90s. Had the Rob Liefeld pushing Rob Liefeld and X-Force. Oh boy,
Yeah.
yeah, you can tell that's Rob Liefeld. Man, the Vulture.
I'm fairly confident I had the first 2 cards.
Why is the Vulture in? You had some of these, Ben?
I think that very first one that was of the New Mutants, I'm pretty sure I had that, and that one of the Vulture, I feel like I had too somewhere.
I didn't know the Vulture was
more, but I remember having it at one point.
The Vulture was an X-Force villain, I guess.
I didn't think so, but okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was Spider-Man, but Rusty and Skids. That's directly from a cover. This cable one.
New Mutants number 87.
Yeah. Oh, this looks like a Youngblood pull. Well, this is Rob Liefeld, so
classic Liefeld.
This is just he just took the whole X-Force card series and said, I'm going to do Youngblood. This is all from.
I mean, this was still Marvel properties. They would have had to have had some say in it, or they were just trying to cash in, and they knew that Rob Liefeld was the hot ticket, and he wasn't going to have time to draw new stuff. So,
I remember that Strife card. I think I had that one too.
So this is, you can tell that Liefeld, when he left Marvel, he's like, hey, I did these X-Force cards, and all I did was take panels from the comic book and put them on a card, and we sold them. So, and Marvel fell for it.
Right.
Oh man. Right. Yeah. These
aren't the same kind. These aren't the same cards that came with X-Force number 1.
Oh, okay. So that was this was a separate deal.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Okay. Yeah. The quality on these this is not, but it's just Liefeld. Oh, this is McFarlane. One of these, it looks like.
He would have inked.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was a Liefeld.
Liefeld drew it and McFarlane inked it. Yeah, they did that quite a bit back in those days.
Interesting. Okay. Huh. Well, I'm not that impressed with that one, but but I have to agree. These 1975 Marvel ones. Oh man, these are hilarious.
Those are amazing.
I might have to just maybe buy some of those, just to find some on eBay just to have, or like I said, put them on a t-shirt. So they had a series 2 of these. Let me see what series 2 looks like, if it's the same thing or if it's something totally different. Oh, it's not found. Oh, dang it.
Are there any, like I said, I find it surprising and disappointing that DC never did any real good card sets.
I said, not that I remember, or not that came up. They got docked in the worst comic book cards ever, where DC was in several of those. So
that's a shame.
I don't think they. Yeah. Well, let's look up 1990s here. But I remember when I was doing some research for this, they were not well spoken of on a lot of them. So, but I know they had some.
Well, it's like you said, you can tell that Marvel dedicated time and effort and created a team just for their cards, and they fully went into hey, we're making trading cards just like baseball, football, hockey, all this other stuff, but it's going to be our characters. So go buy some sets of the baseball cards and figure out how you can make that same thing into with the comic book characters. And whereas the Youngbloods and the X-Force Factor ones or whatever, they're like you said, they're just we can put stuff on a card. It's okay.
Yeah, there's no consideration for graphics and overall look. It's just take this, cherry pick some art, slap it in there, and there you go.
Right.
So yeah, the top 10 comic book trading cards of the 90s, 6 of them are Marvel.
Sure.
But there was, Marvel Masterpieces, that was number 1. X-Men series was number 2. Kingdom Come had a comic books or a comic card set, the DC comic. So that, was number 3.
Yeah. Marvel. That's also, I mean, that was all Alex Ross art. So that would help move it up the list there.
Then Batman had the Saga of the Dark Knight card set, looks like. And then it's back to Marvel again. So, it was just all pretty much Marvel.
I did have trading cards for the first Batman movie, the 89 Batman. I did have those trading cards.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. They pushed that was a big deal. And 89 Batman was a big deal, of course.
And those cards, I remember, were mostly disappointing because it was, Bob the Goon. Okay.
Because
Right.
wasn't it just pictures from the movie?
I
on
say,
the
weren't
card?
they just like they're just like production stills put on a card?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I had these. I had like I said, a smattering of Marvel Series 1 and Marvel Series 2. And I never did get any of the masterpieces. I take that back. Here we go. I got some of the masterpieces. And then they had the Executioner song from X-Men in the bag. So, I still have some of those.
Right.
I think I got most of those. Star Wars had some. Star Wars Galaxy. Looks like I have a few of those. So I just have a smattering of kind of hits and misses of others. But Ben, you're the one, man. You're the king. You still have pretty much all of them.
I do. Like I said, look, I got this right here. Here they are.
Nice. Ben's Investment Opportunities Inc.
That's right.
That's right. Follow me for more retirement opportunities.
Guaranteed to lose more money.
Yeah.
And of course,
Gorman is going to be calling you.
And of course, in the 90s, since this stuff wasn't cool back then, I had to cleverly disguise them as baseball cards. So.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It was kind of the beginning of not being made fun of as much by being into comics as maybe today. Yeah, I know we've talked about that before, that you might get beat up for having an X-Men t-shirt in the 80s on the playground, but I was right. If you had Superman or Batman, you were pretty safe, but anything else,
right,
you're taking a risk.
You're rolling the dice.
If it's mainstream, you're okay, but if you're showing that you're an actual fan, then ooh.
yeah. If you had an X-Men or Avengers or something like that, you might be in trouble. So, all right. Well, I think that's all on comic book cards from the 90s. So
it's fun looking back at those.
Yeah. I grabbed my old binder. This binder is probably 30 years old and it's still holding up, but it's kind of fun to go look at some of those. I think I had some, if you remember, Wizard had some specialty cards too. I think I had a couple of those they did some bags, poly bags of those as well, but yeah, definitely don't buy Youngblood comics or Youngblood cards. Not gonna do well. Oh man, that was good. All right. Well, hey, everybody in the chat, thanks. We got Jesse and Paul and several other people. Appreciate it. They had just some comments here. Yeah, they had a run a Death and Return of Superman cards. Yeah. I remember seeing some of those.
I remember seeing those.
See, Jesse had the same question. Are these photoshopped on the 75? I was like, no, I don't think they are.
Yeah. Man, they would make great t-shirts.
Oh, man, that's a gold mine for Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is Paul. There's a Star Trek Next Generation. Yep, I've seen some of those. So, yeah. Well, thanks everybody in the chat and for participating. There's lots of different comments. So, but yeah, we'll come up with another 90s comic. So everybody that's into 90s and comic books, we'll try to hit some of them and have some fun going down memory lane.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Al. Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate
it. Thanks everybody in the chat. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.
See you.